Hello, Sharon from Budget Crafty Mama. As you can see, I'm in the kitchen again. I'm going to be making Tamsin some granola because we're just about out. So I've started putting some oats in. I just basically, I don't measure this, I just play it by ear. I just doing what I think. So probably about right. So this is quite a big bowl because I don't see the point in making small batches of anything. So that's just the ordinary old-fashioned oats. These are quite big ones as well. So and into that I add some pumpkin seeds, just a few pumpkin seeds. It's probably about 1/3 of a cup. I add some chia seeds. I normally add flax seeds, but I'm out. And some sunflower seeds. And I've got some chopped almonds there that I'm just going to put in as well. Now, that's not everything I add into a granola. I add the dehydrated fruit in when I've finished with it in the dehydrator, because I don't see the point in putting the fruit through the dehydrator twice. So I'm just going to give this a little mix, just to mix it all up. I don't add any sugar to my granola either. I did when I first started making it, because obviously Tamsin was used to sweet cereal. So I added a couple of tablespoons the first time I made it, and then the second time I just cut it down to 1.5, and the third time down to 1, and until I've got no sugar in it. But I just add, that'll do for now, I add a little bit of maple syrup, and this is just the maple syrup from Aldi, and I probably add about, I don't know, it's probably about 1/2 cup of that. And then I probably add the same amount of honey. I've just warmed this honey up so it's a bit easier to work with. And to start with, I just mix it in with a spatula. And I don't measure this, I just play it by ear. If it's got too much honey in it, I just add a little bit more oats into it. If it's not got enough, I just add a bit more in. So just give that a quick mix around like that. Just try and get it all incorporated. This is the hardest bit, is just mixing it, because it takes so long to mix it in, and try and get the honey in, because it's very tempting to say, oh, there's not enough in there, and put some more in. But then you'll just end up with big sticky globs. You really don't need a huge amount. Does give you arm ache after a while. Leave like that, and then I'm going to get my hands in, and then I'm just going to sort of mush it to make sure it's all got a bit of a coating of honey. As you can see, I didn't put a huge amount of honey in there, or maple syrup, but that is quite moist. You just want it, you know, sort of all to have a little bit of a covering. I just like to go down to the bottom a bit, because the chia seeds tend to sink, so if you just keep stirring them up. Right, so as you can see, That's quite well mixed, quite sticky. I'm just going to take these gloves off. And that's basically it for now. You just mix that in like that, and then I'll put this onto the dehydrator trays in thin layers, and we just put it in the dehydrator for about 6 hours. So I'm just going to start the dehydrator, getting that warm, and I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I've just got these, they're like a baking sheet, but they're designed for the dehydrators as well. I think you could use them in the oven, but I haven't. So I'm just going to lay some of these trays out, and then I'm just going to scoop some on. I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. Obviously, the thicker you have it, the longer it's going to take to dry. So you just want to spread this out nice and thin. And then when they're spread out, I'm just going to pop these into the dehydrator to get them out of my way. Just going to put a little bit more on that one. Not very much. And that's all it is to it. I'll finish doing this and then I'll bring you back to show you what I've done with them in the dehydrator. Right, so as you can see, that's the last tray. I've just done it. I'm just going to move you a little bit closer, see if you can see what they look like in the dehydrator. So that's the last one going in. As you can see, I ran out of those sheets, so I've just used a bit of baking parchment. If I just move a bit closer, that's what it looks like in the dehydrator. So I'm just going to shut the door, keep the heat going, and I'll come back in about 6 hours and I'll show you what else I do with it then to make it a yummy treat for Tamsin to go with their breakfast. Right, so I'm back now. I've already put a few of the trays in there, back into the bowl. So I'm just going to put the last 2 trays back in. Right, so as you can see, it's made quite a bit. Now all I've got to do to this is to add whatever fruits we want to add. So I have some that I've bought from the shops because I just haven't got round to making them. So these are dried cranberries. So we just put a few of those in. I've got very many of those left. So, and then I usually just use a little bit of coconut, flake coconut, and I just crumble that up a little bit because Tamsin doesn't like it in too big pieces. I don't measure this, I just play it by ear. Just a few small handfuls. I'll just add the rest of that in. So, then in here I've got some nectarines that I've dried and some bananas, some bits of bananas, and I've chopped all these up ahead of time ready to go in here. So those are going to go in as well. Then I've got some strawberries that I dehydrated a few weeks ago, and I've just sliced these and dehydrated them. So I'm going to put quite a few of those in because she loves strawberries in her granola. And then these are just some black grapes that they had on offer at Tesco's just before Christmas. So I've dehydrated these as well, and these are just going to go in. So I'm just going to chuck a load of these in. These are just basically raisins, but they're home dehydrated, so they've got nothing artificial on them. The dog's trying to knock my light down. There we go. And all you've got to do now is give it a good mix. Now as you can see, the bowl's a lot fuller now because when you dehydrate the granola, bits stick together and it makes it a bit more bulky than when you started. So I wouldn't fill your bowl to the brim when you first make it with the oats, because you won't be able to get it all back into the bowl to mix the fruit in. So I'm just trying to give it a good stir so that the fruit's evenly distributed. There you go, that should do. And now what I do is, I've got a little jug, which I should have got out before I started filming. I have these big glass jars, and I just scoop it into the jars. Now if this was going to be hanging around for like months, if I was making it, you know, to last months, I would put these in my mason jars and I would vacuum seal them. But this is only going to last about 3 weeks, if that. So I just put them in these jars and that's fine. As you can see, it makes quite a bit, and Tamsin loves this with a yoghurt maker. And I never do the same thing twice, because sometimes I've got different fruit or different nuts. I just sort of wing it as we go. and work it down in the jar a little bit so I can get a bit more in there. Not enough to warrant doing another jar. There we go. So that's 2 good sized jars. Right, so this is the finished product. Nice and healthy. The fruit's all nicely mixed in there. This is all Tamsin's eaten for breakfast for the last 6 months. It's the yoghurt and the granola. She totally loves it, and I don't add any sugar to it anymore. And because I dehydrate my own fruit, there's no sugar in that either. No artificial sugar, should I say, in that either. Because when you buy dehydrated fruit from the supermarkets, very often it's got sugar and oil in it to get it how it is. So this is a completely healthy breakfast. She loves it, devours it, would probably eat twice what I give her for breakfast if I'd, let her. This will last about 3 weeks. So if you've liked this video, please press the like button and subscribe, and please share it with your friends. I'd very much appreciate that. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.